to my first show, Car Scene with Dean. Very excited? My first episode, number 1. Today I have the Suspects Motor Club on, and this should be good. My guests today are Patrick Grogan, Mark Church, Jim Crom, Terry Perry. Or is it Tyler? Tommy Perry.
Just call me Greg.
Yeah. And Matt Smith. Sorry about that. But today we're going to be talking about their club and what it's all about, and we're going to be talking about the car that they built for the Race of Gentlemen down in New Jersey, and give a little history about the guys in the club and that. But first off, I'm going to talk about how I met these guys. It was at the Mount Clemens Hill climb in Mount Clemens at, what was that bar?
I forgot the name of the bar already, because I probably didn't really even care what it was called.
Yeah, I think it was Mangan's Irish Hut.
That's right.
Yeah.
They just had a big parking lot.
And it was cold as hell.
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold and
But,
rainy.
yeah, you guys are very nice. You welcomed me, and nobody bought me a beer that night. I don't know what that was.
I bought everybody a beer. I didn't buy you one?
No, I didn't. Yeah. No.
Okay, sorry.
I got a chocolate chip cookie, though. Yeah, that was really nice.
Just don't eat the peanut butter one.
Oh, and they also got a match pack.
Oh yeah,
Remember the match pack?
that came,
Greg
that
made
came
those.
from Greg.
And I still have that in my ashtray in my Oldsmobile.
Nice. Yeah, I still got mine.
Yeah, it's very memorable.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about what you guys are driving these days. Your classic cars. Matt, what do you got?
Oh, starting with me, eh?
Yeah.
Right now I've got a 64 Riviera. It's on air ride. And I just picked up this spring 61 Buick Invicta.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
top.
yeah.
Yep.
That's the year I was born. It looks better than me.
Well, it's actually a already well-known car. I mean, it's already had some press and stuff on it. You know, you didn't get to go straight into Dead End magazine
Right.
before, while you had it, but it's still your way into it.
Formerly owned by Flat Top Bob Owens down in Wellington, Texas.
Yeah.
Owens Salvage. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fairly well known.
So
Mild custom. Yep.
he brings the celebrity.
The cachet.
Yeah, exactly. He brings. Yes, there you go. Exactly.
Oh, he's a celebrity. He's
Well, the car is.
pretty well
Jim's
known.
the car is the celebrity for Matt. Jim's he's got the
man
most
behind
press out of all of us, I think. Between Jim and Tommy, they've been in TV and,
Oh, really?
and
Wow, nice.
magazines and
Movies for some of
stuff.
us.
Yeah.
Right.
Blockbuster hits.
Right. So has your car been in that Dead End magazine? Is that what it's called?
It was photographed by them down at the Roundup, Lone Star
Okay,
Roundup
yeah.
in Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Very cool. So, Mark, what do you have?
I have two,
Of course.
So, one that 1953 Chevy 210.
Okay.
Most people don't know I own that car because it's it's been sitting for a year.
Right.
But, hopefully, with some money and some time, we'll get that thing
Right.
back up and rolling. And
Yeah,
then,
she's a beauty. I've seen it. It's a nice looking car.
Thank you. Yeah, I just picked up new bumpers. Jim told me about these California Chrome one-piece bumpers
Mhm.
that he had seen in Ohio.
Yeah.
So I went down to Napoleon, Ohio,
Oh.
and picked those up. And the bumpers prior on that, they were just painted silver or gray.
Were they a 3-piece bumper?
They were a
Yeah,
three-piece
right.
bumper. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I got the new bumpers on.
Mhm.
It's looking really sharp. So yeah, I always had plans for that. It's just
Cool.
sometimes you have time and not the money, and
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
you have money and not
Right.
the time. So trying to get that balanced out, we'll get the car back on the road.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then I've got a little 1930 Model A Roadster.
Mhm.
Constantly ripping around on that one. Had that one about 5 years
Yeah.
now. Just a really fun car. Been all over the place in that one.
What are you running in that? What motor?
It's got a small block engine in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember at the last car show, I tried to sit in that car. I had a hard one time getting in, and I had to have help getting out.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that tall, and
Yeah.
even my knees are in my chest. Passenger seat's a little bit
Yeah.
more comfy, I think.
That's a
But,
badass car. I like it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I've taken it up to like Burton, Michigan, down to Panny Raid, out to Hell,
Yeah.
Michigan. So yeah, in my when I first got it, it was much more comfortable.
Right.
It's
So is that a
loud.
real rough ride, being that low to the
Oh,
ground?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not an Oldsmobile. It's not a
Yeah,
it's
right.
not a Buick.
Yeah.
But it's fun, you know. I knew what I was getting into, so
Yeah.
a couple more years and then pass that one on and look at getting something else. I think
What's your next plan? What are you gonna get?
I'd love to get a truck.
Yeah.
Something that'll get me, you know, to
50s?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
even earlier.
Yeah, right.
I mean, when I first started kind of eyeing trucks, they were affordable, but now it's
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
the price on them is insane.
Everything's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything is. But
That's why I bought my olds. It was cheap.
yeah,
Affordable.
yeah,
And I'm enjoying it.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I still enjoy
Yeah.
both,
Mhm.
but you know, it's getting there's no doors on the 30, so you're climbing in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something a little bit more comfortable, something that'll get me down to Nashville or
Yeah.
out to Chicago or
Hell yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Cleveland or something would be nice. So,
Very cool. Yeah.
and the 53 may do that. I just gotta figure out a game plan here.
Yeah, right. So Tommy, what do you have?
Currently drive a 2012 Fiat. No, that's my wife's car. No, actually, my main car at this point is a 48 Dodge truck.
Yes.
It's got a later Chrysler small block 360 built. It's actually built by a friend of ours, friend of mine, you know, and did a pretty good job on it.
Yeah.
But I broke the steering box, so I haven't driven it for a year.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So I kind of put it aside. I don't know, probably gonna finish it up, get ready to sell. I actually got my eye on another car that one of our club brothers has, and I'm trying to convince him
Would
not to
that
sell
be a
it.
30 or 31 coupe?
Yeah,
That's a beauty there,
it
man.
so is.
I look at it every
Yes.
day on Marketplace.
Stop looking at it.
Yeah. I want to see the price go down a little lower. So yeah, that's a very nice car.
Yeah.
But so Jim, over to you.
All right, I've got 4 cool cars right
Four.
now. Most people don't know 2 of them because
Yeah.
they're way projects. But so my main one is the 49 Cadillac.
Yeah,
what
that's a
everybody
nice
knows me
ride.
about. Yeah, it's I've had that almost 9 years now.
Wow.
Actually, in April it'll be 9 years. So and we've it's all stock mechanical. It's got the patina look to it. I've got it lowered. And it's been a really cool car for me.
Yeah.
It's what brought me into this whole scene. It kind of came out of nowhere for us. We went to Autorama one year and we were hanging out in the basement. And we're like, man, this is really cool.
Yeah,
My background was all like sports car type stuff. And I'm talking to the wife in the next week and I'm like, let's start looking for cars, right? This is really cool.
Yeah.
And the Cadillac came up on eBay and I'm like, that's interesting. It was in Milford, local. And my income tax refund check happened to hit my direct
Yeah,
deposit
right.
the
Nice.
day that the auction was over.
Oh,
It was
wow.
a real auction. It wasn't
Really?
a buy now. It was one of those stressful deals. So I'm like, let's do this thing, right? So yeah, it's been cool. I've loved it. And,
Running and driving car?
oh well, basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it needed some love, but
Right.
it was. But the guy I bought it from, I still run into him every now and again. Actually, he's got some other cool stuff. So it's
Nice.
yeah, it's been really fun. And then
You've taken that car everywhere too.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
we drove all the way down to Nashville. What was it? 3 years ago now? 2 years ago, something like that. I don't know. COVID makes everything.
Yeah.
It's a time warp.
Did you go down there with Tony and what? I can't think of the.
Oh,
the team.
Todd and Elizabeth.
Oh, Tom and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we went with us. He works for Haggerty. He borrowed one of the Haggerty
Yeah,
cars.
yeah.
And it was. The car averaged like 15 miles a gallon, which is not too bad.
No, not at all.
It'll drive 65, no
Mhm.
problem. It'll do 70, but the front end gets a little, aero light. It's not the most comfortable kind of deal.
So you take the E-way all the way down, or
We
back
did
roads?
for that route. There really isn't another option.
Yeah. Right.
When we did another trip out to Iron Invasion, which is almost by Chicago,
Mhm.
and for that we went US 12
Yeah.
most of the way, which is kind of cool.
What year did you go to Invasion?
That was that same year, 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
19, whatever.
So the last year it was in.
Yeah. At the fairgrounds.
Okay.
And that was
Yeah.
the rainstorm on the way home too.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd been to the first 3 or 4 Iron Invasions. Yeah.
It
That's
was a
great
cool
show.
show.
It's a
We,
cool
we
show.
were at,
Too late in the year.
yeah, oh yeah,
Snow.
mid-October. It was
Yeah.
not the most.
And where did you say that was at?
At the time, it's a little outside of Chicago.
Okay.
In,
They
Yeah.
moved
Woodstock.
it to Iowa now, right?
Right.
So-
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was
It's-
in Woodstock, Illinois. And that
Yeah. It was the show that essentially replaced the 100 car pile up.
I've heard of that. Yeah. Yeah.
And 100 was famous.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else you got?
Yeah.
All right,
Sorry.
so my daily driver is a '85 Chevy square body pickup.
And you drove that here tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's got the winter tires on it now. It'll be my daily. And then I've got 2 projects. I've got a '55 Bel Air 4-door that was. We picked that up to be my wife's car. It was going to be her daily driver.
Yeah.
Actually, it was kind of the direction we were going with it. It's taken longer than intended.
Yeah.
But
55
The-
Bel Air, 2-door?
4-door.
4-door?
Yep.
That's 55 is my favorite year.
Yep.
The anniversary of us going to get that was.
Just a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Joyce's favorite car too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why that came up. So, but
Now, I mean to catch up, but if
Okay.
you look at the 55 and you look at my 52 olds, the rear quarter panel on
yeah,
there,
very similar.
they're very similar to that. And that's what kind of caught my eye on that Oldsmobile. I mean, the Oldsmobile, it's a 4-door, but you really, from a distance, it almost looks like
Yeah.
a 2-door, the way the body line is,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, that rear quarter panel just nice and straight. You know, everybody loves the 57 with
Yeah.
the, you know,
57's a little much for me. Actually.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just yeah.
it's almost like they're a dime a dozen. You see them everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
wouldn't turn one down though.
Well,
but, you
Yo,
know.
My first car was a 57.
Really?
What the heck?
Was this in California?
Yeah, but I was only 10. It was supposed to be mine, and I sold it, and I got my actual first driving car was a 79 Vet, but I used the 57 money to buy it. So
When did you get your first
Yeah,
surfboard?
struggles.
I never had a surfboard. Yeah.
Oh,
Northern California is cold and there's
Yeah.
sharks. Like,
oh, okay.
I did do a surf trip after I graduated high school, but
That's
yeah,
another story.
Yeah, that's all. Back to Jim's cars.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, and then there's a '64 Corvette that's a
Okay.
long-term project.
I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Isn't that your mom's car?
Yeah.
Oh.
It absolutely
Ouch.
was.
Really?
Yeah, I inherited it from my mom when she passed in 2013. So
Okay.
it was. It's actually a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But my folks were all into Corvettes my
Yeah.
whole life growing up, and they used to race. And my dad had
No
a
kidding.
really cool '67 Corvette race car. We had all kinds of Corvettes everywhere.
Wow.
When I was growing up, I didn't think it was like a big deal, actually.
Yeah,
I
right.
figured everybody's got
Everybody's
4 or
got
5
Corvettes.
Corvettes in the yard, right?
Matt would
And-
concur.
So the 64 Corvette, does that look at the same body as a 63?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
63 was a
Yeah,
split
this
one,
is
though, but-
this is a Roadster.
Okay.
So anyway, so my dad bought this one specifically was going to be my mom's car,
Mhm.
and he was supposed to. It was a project. He was supposed to get it running,
Yeah.
and for her to be her car, and it kind of never happened. That was like 1978 or 9,
Right.
something like that. And so when my mom got sick, she had cancer. I was talking to her one day, and she's like, "Man, I really kind of wish that we had gotten the Corvette running
Yeah.
at some point." And I didn't. It was always there, you know,
Yeah.
in the barn, and I'm like, I didn't know it was like that big a deal to her, and I'm like, I was trying to make a push to get it done
Right.
before it, but it didn't happen. And then so they passed it down to me when she passed. So
Nice, very nice.
someday, I'm sounding like my dad. But
Yeah.
someday I'll get it going.
So you must have a pretty big garage or barn?
Nope, I do not.
Okay.
Nope, not at all. I live in suburbs, USA,
Yeah,
Huntington
yeah.
Woods. I got a 2-car garage. That's the 55 and the Veteran there.
Yeah.
The Cadillac stays outside for the last few years.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But-
So you don't drive the Cadillac at all in the winter? It's done?
Yeah, I've got it. I put it away last weekend.
Yeah.
I've got it covered. I don't do much. I just disconnect the battery,
Yeah.
put the dryer sheets in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right,
about it.
yeah. Very cool, man. Yeah. Patrick, over to you.
So I've got my, at least when the weather's nice, my daily is a 64 Olds
Wow.
Jetstar 88,
Yeah.
which is actually, I think, the car that you and I started talking about.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
We're Oldsmobile bros.
Yeah, we had that at the,
Yeah.
at the Hot Rod Shop.
Well, yeah, so like we started talking online. 'cause
Yes, yeah,
I don't know, I'm not entirely sure if you reached out to me first or what. But
yeah.
anyway, we both had the Oldsmobiles, and so then we eventually, that's how you and I
Yeah.
met at the Hot Rod Shop. But
Yeah.
so I've got the 64 Olds, and I actually just picked that up, what was it, 3-4 years ago? Something like, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I actually was in the club before I had a car,
Mhm.
like a driving car, and so that was
Yeah.
that's my first like old driving car.
Right, right.
Before that, and which is now also my current, major push project, I've got a 1931 Ford
Mhm.
four-door sedan that I'm
Yes.
building. I got a 401 nailhead that's going into it.
Nice.
I was able to pick up a quick change for it just this last year, which I'm really stoked about. I bought that car. So back to my 79 Corvette, I had that car all throughout high school.
Mhm.
I ran it into a street pole.
Oops.
Well, so I had redone the front bushings on it, but I managed to put the actual control shafts on the A-arms.
We gotta put a
in.
sound effect in at that point.
Yeah.
It says crashed into a pole.
I managed to put those in upside down, and it actually affected how the whole front end came together. And so then I hadn't aligned the front wheels yet, and I was driving it to work, and then after work I was going to go to the alignment shop, but it had decided to rain that day, and I hit the brakes and basically locked up and just went right into this telephone pole, and it was one of the center lights. So I sold that car.
You didn't get the brakes done?
No, actually I had done the brakes on it, but the C3 brakes are terrible.
Okay.
So anyway, sold that car. I was getting ready to go to college, and so I had purchased the 31, and then I also purchased a 62 Buick that I pulled the engine out of.
Okay.
And then basically I bought that stuff, parked it at my dad owns a construction company, so he's got this big property that he keeps all his, equipment and
In
stuff at.
California?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I parked it on his property, and then I left for college like 2 months later, and it just sat there. And so I've actually owned that car since 2003, and I'm just now starting to work on it, which is cool. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of using a lot of the skills that we
Mhm.
learned from our trog car to go through and
Yeah,
fix,
So I
fix
got
my
time on the 53, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that model that you brought back from California.
Yeah, so like I said, it's been sitting on my dad's property.
Yeah.
I drove out, I don't know, it was probably 6 years ago now, something maybe more than that. Drove out to get it, and then brought it back home, and brought it out here. When I got married, got a house, all
Yeah.
that stuff, I finally had a place of my own to put it,
Yeah.
and I was actually
Yeah.
making money, not spending student loans on it, so.
Right.
So yeah, I got it out here and I started working on it, and that was actually kind of the reason why I ended up getting into the club, because I don't know if we're segueing into.
Yes,
since
we are.
I ended up getting into the club because.
You want to take over?
Sure. Yeah. Welcome to Parsing with Pat Grogan. I actually reached out to Matt because Matt works with me at General Motors, and
Oh,
I was looking for some tools because I didn't have any tools to try and tear this front axle apart on that 31. And he's like, I had hit him up online, and because he had the Riviera, and so I was hitting him up about nailhead stuff, and he's like, I just bought this car, I don't know. So then I started asking him questions about that, and then I was like, hey, do you know anybody with a set of torches so I can tear this front axle apart? And he's like, I don't have any torches, but I know a guy.
I know a guy, Terry Perry, right?
Yeah, Terry Perry. So we went over to Terry's house,
He's got a whole bunch of tools and
Yeah.
nobody knows how to use them.
and we didn't end up getting it apart, but Terry was a really nice guy. So, and then anyway, after that, I just kind of kept talking to all these guys, and
Very cool.
now it's just kind of cascaded into.
So
this
did you
debacle.
guys meet at work?
I met Matt. I actually met most people through Instagram. I met Matt through
Yeah.
Instagram.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you didn't know at the time he worked there?
No,
Okay.
that was the thing. Is like you posted something about the Riviera, and I said. And so I was like, oh, I don't know how I found you on People Finder at work. I was like,
Yeah.
I've seen that guy's car. So
Is this a dating site you were looking
Yeah.
at?
Similar to the Gay Michigan Bitches.
yeah.
Wow.
Are you gonna explain the
That's
background of that one?
No, Matt, you
No?
explain it. No, I mean, if you've been on the Ham and you're
Yeah.
from Michigan, you
Another
know,
dating
it's
site.
Another dating
And that's
site.
where you guys pretty much met everybody on these different sites.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's the segue into the club. So who runs the club?
All of
I
us.
was just
Nobody.
curious. Who's the? There's not a president.
No, there's no president.
No.
I mean, who runs the Instagram?
Matt runs the Instagram.
Oh, you do. I always thought it was you.
Yeah,
I did
no.
think you. I thought it was you.
Yeah, some people still think it's me.
Okay.
So-
Sorry about that, Matt.
It's okay. So, yeah,
You can have all the credit.
Yeah, right.
So Matt runs the Instagram. I think all of us have a hand in the Facebook page.
Right.
If you're a member, we just add you to the editing and take it over. I don't know. I tend to post a lot of shit, so a lot of people
Right.
probably think that's probably why I run Instagram page.
So how did the club come together? How did you guys decide? Was it Matt or did you guys
No, it
hanging out
goes
together?
way back.
It goes way back.
it goes-
Actually, it goes back to 1493. It was just after Columbus.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, so our club brothers, our founding fathers, are really, we have Aaron Weeks and Greg, and who else was
Those are the two official
Yeah.
founding members.
right? Was Steve,
Okay.
was Steve an original number 2 or no?
Well, yeah, Greg
Sort of,
Greg
right.
brought along his his
Posse.
friends from childhood, Steve,
right.
Cliff,
One of the many Chris's. The,
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris was a neighbor of Greg's,
Yeah.
a younger guy that they kind of brought in.
So it was really like 4 or 5 of them. They all just kind of knew
Yeah.
each other, right? And they just started this car club,
Okay.
and it just kind of expanded from there. I think I don't know, progressively over the years who joined, but as far as how you know the guys, Matt. I mean, you're probably the eldest member here.
I got to know him through the Ham,
That's what I figured.
and it was
Through the
probably
GMB.
2009-ish when I kind of
Okay.
became friends with. It's funny. Brad is another club member that
Right.
he was actually a member maybe a year or less before I was, but I got to know Brad through the Ham, and then
Sorry.
yeah, he started hanging out at shows like Billetproof and Sins of Steel and Autorama, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then I think somewhere around the same time. I was on the GMB. A lot of us were on that GMB, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what's going on locally. It was always a good. That's the Gay Michigan Bitches off
Oh,
the page,
okay.
right? So
It's like
just to
a
clarify,
sub-
right? Okay.
Yeah,
Like a
And I don't know who
sub-forum,
yeah.
social
Right,
forum
and
on
I
the
don't know
Ham.
who created it, but
Okay.
it's pretty hilarious. But I don't know. Anyway, so I remember talking to Matt a bunch of times on there, and we must have talked on the GMB over like a good 4, 5, 6 years before we ever even actually met each other in person.
And you knew you're both from Michigan, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I knew he was close by. We were literally like one community over from each other.
That's right. Yeah.
And but I didn't have a ham-friendly car at the time. My car at the time was a 70 Polera.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was a beautiful car. God, I wish I.
That's a big car.
It's in Sweden now, by the way. It was kind of
Sweden.
annoying, so I'll never get it back. But so they were filming a movie.
Here we go.
A super huge hit went straight to
Blockbusters.
video. Everybody knows about it.
Starring Terry Perry.
So they're filming a movie, and because Matt has had a couple cars in movies before, and
That was just recently.
actually even prior. This goes like
Okay.
way back.
This
yeah.
was 2009.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a 54 Chevy Bel Air.
Yes.
Brad with his 59 Bel Air. In fact, I met Brad during that movie shoot.
There you
Actually.
go.
So
What movie was that?
it was called Flipped. It was directed by
Scorsese.
Reiner.
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner, yeah.
Yeah.
Meathead, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a local movie, right?
It was filmed in Ann Arbor.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, that was a fun experience.
This
but-
is the first I'm hearing of this.
I was
movie
gonna
issue.
say,
This
I
is
wasn't
cool.
born yet,
Cool.
so I.
Is this on Amazon Prime or anything? Can we watch
You
it?
can find it. You can,
Yeah.
it's out there. It
Pops up once in a while.
It had a short run.
Okay.
And is your car like in Brad's car in the movie?
Yeah.
Quite a few times, yeah.
This is the
Nice.
first I'm hearing this.
Wait, with the scallops and everything on it?
Fascinating.
I
On
think it
Brad's
No,
side?
it was pre-scallops.
Oh, okay, okay. I
Pre
was gonna say.
air ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It still looked like like a stock 59 Chevy
Okay.
for the most part.
So that other movie that was just like a couple of years ago, they filmed in Detroit. Was your car in that movie? I can't think of the name of the movie.
No,
It wasn't in that? Okay.
not mine.
Right.
Oh, are you talking about the one that Benicio del Toro was in?
Yeah,
And,
yes.
Some of our
Don Cheadle.
Yep,
some
yep.
of our
Yeah.
buddies had
Yeah,
some. Some of the
yeah.
guys in some other clubs
Yeah.
here.
That was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool crowd.
I was actually
Too.
coming home. I had just went out one day and was coming home, driving down the expressway, and the lot that they were parking all those cars in was right off the freeway. So I'm driving by and I was like, it's weird that it's like a Sunday afternoon. It's raining and they're having a car show. So I circled back around and figured out that that was the
Yeah.
lot that they were keeping these old cars. So
Right.
I smooth talked my way past the security guy. It helps when you're wearing a suspect's coat. And and he let me onto
Yeah.
the lot, and I got pictures of all the cars in that. And
Nice.
some really, really, really cool rides.
Yeah, because you sent me information on that to get a hold of that
Yeah,
woman.
it was the same woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very, very stock cars.
Yeah.
Like,
My
nothing
car- yeah.
like lower. I think your car would have been all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if I
Yeah.
handed my keys over to a guy on the set to drive my car,
Right.
I'd have to tell him, okay, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Hit the
everything.
pedal, turn the key.
They all
20
have their own
times.
little quirks,
Right,
don't
I'm thinking
they?
he's gonna get in the car in the middle of a scene.
Right.
Hey, you know.
So
Let's say
somebody
I
was,
drive.
was telling me that for that movie,
Yeah.
that they actually had two kind of auto techs
Oh, really?
that specifically like one drove the car and the other one was kind of like a dummy actor who
Yeah.
actually more so drove
Yeah,
drove
yeah.
the cars if there was a driving scene with the car. So pretty cool.
Yeah, they had some
Yeah.
nice cars in that movie.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna move on to the car that you guys built for the Race of Gentlemen,
Suspect device.
the suspect device. How'd that name come up?
It was wasn't it a Jalopnik article that we were talking about once, and it was some like random German word that translated into suspect device, and you got all
Now,
no.
No.
Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Not even
it comes directly from that Pretty Bitchin' Punk song.
Okay.
Yeah. so-
Now that car you guys are building, wasn't that originally going to be built for the 5.7 Delta?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
And then
Yes.
COVID hit, and that put that on the back burner.
Yep.
And then this
Yeah.
came up.
So Matt actually was the one who started the fund to pick up the car. We went on.
I mean, me and Jim went in on the initial
Oh,
purchase, right?
okay.
Yeah.
So
the
it
chassis?
was
Yeah.
Yeah.
January 1st, 2020.
Oh, yeah.
We went.
Yeah, it
Or
was cold
they,
that
they
day.
all they went up to I don't remember where the hell
Storm of
I had
Ruins.
found the chassis up on
Northern
Facebook
like
Marketplace.
Alma,
Yeah.
And yeah, they all went up to Alma with a trailer
There's a
and
lot of
grabbed
cow
this
poop.
Model A chassis.
Yeah.
We brought it back home. Mark lives only a street away from me. He's got a big 3-car garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were originally going to put it in his garage,
We lived
but
there for like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
we
two.
parked it there, and then
Yeah.
we all went over there later to
A push party.
to try. Like,
Yeah.
then we kind of realized that we needed some more tools to be able to work on it, and
Plus,
you know,
plus my garage isn't 220.
yeah.
But you have heat out there, don't you? Is that hooked up? I remember seeing heat.
The
Not
heat
at the
died
time.
that year.
Oh, okay.
So
There's a switch in the fan, so
Yeah.
the thing will heat up, but it won't like blow out.
Oh, okay.
So then we decided, like, I was like, I had just got electrical done in my garage, so I had
Yes.
to do 20 and
Yeah.
welders and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
I was like, let's bring it over to my place. And so
Yeah.
the Oldsmobile had to give up its nice cushy spot in the garage and go out into the
Yeah, I
into the
saw that.
driveway. So then it got pushed over into my place, and then
Yeah.
There's
like
there's
literally
a video of us like pushing it over there too,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool considering like
Matt
What
sitting
that-
on it driving.
I was the first driver.
You were the first driver.
it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to look at that like early video and think about like what that car started off with to what it ended up
Yeah.
as for sure.
Right.
But like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We need to put together like a timeline video.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Or at least some photos, you know, a scrapbook before Autorama.
Yeah, because
you
like
know.
50 years from now, whatever your kids and that,
Mhm.
they can show their kids that this is what my dad built, or you know,
Right.
Oh yeah.
you know, because we see that stuff now on Instagram, Facebook, where the old hot rod pictures of guys back in the day, you know,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
very cool.
Pulling
Yeah.
these old hot rods from the 60s,
Yeah.
50s out of a barn or whatever, right? And they're getting farther and fewer, but
Right.
they still find them. And it's
Isn't
like,
that
wow,
crazy though?
this is,
Those
you know,
cars are still out there.
Yeah.
you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's there's never significant history to them. They're
No.
just really cool family history, small
Yeah,
history,
yeah.
right?
There was-
Regional history.
Yeah.
There was one car at Trog this year, 2 cars at Trog that I remember that, and when we get to that, we'll talk more about
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so many of those early cars were the inspiration for kind of the direction,
Yeah.
you know, that we were going in.
It's funny, I remember the picture that we had, one of the main pictures we have when we were rolling it from Mark's house over to my place. And it's, not to make a COVID joke, but it's hilarious because we all have this youthful optimism on our face. And then like 2 months later, it's like, nope, you're all going, it's all
Yeah.
shutting down.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think it's weird too. Like that we'll talk about hopefully that adjustment from like you know what we had planned to build the car for and how it segued into you know where the car ended up. And it
Yeah.
was just,
Yeah. And even how
Was
we
it meant to happen?
finally started working on it. too,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. But
So
it's
was that your plan to build? It's called a rail job. Was that a rail job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so as soon, like the day that they announced the 5.7 Delta
Yeah.
race, we started on our group chat saying, all right, we gotta do something for this. 'Cause I mean, this is super cool.
was
This
it
is-
group chat or was it
It's
group
okay.
chat or were we? It was the day you guys all we met at the bar and
even before that,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
at the bar, we were gonna
That
make
was the official
actual
discussion,
plan.
yeah.
But,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
we were chatting about it and what we could possibly
Like, we
do.
should
and
do
what
this.
we should do this, and then
Nice.
we arranged to
all right.
to have a club night at the bar, and then we went to the movies to see Ford versus Ferrari
Yeah.
after that.
Well,
No
and the other
spoilers.
thing is too, is the guy who was organizing 5.7 Delta is a good friend of the
Sure.
club. So
Yeah.
we, not only did we
Right.
want to do it, we're also
Yeah.
like, he is a close friend. We
Yeah.
have to do something to be part of his event, so.
Yeah.
Who was this?
Darren Clark.
Darren Clark.
Oh, that's right there.
Yeah.
Great guy. Yes.
Who
So
doesn't love
I've
Darren?
been to a few of his parties out there.
go ahead.
Chlor-
The Chlor Farm.
Chlor-
Yes.
Farm.
And then COVID hit and that was done.
Yep.
So yeah, so we were talking about how we could do it. We got together. We were saying, okay, a rail would be the easiest to do,
Yeah.
and so for a few weeks after that, we were scouring Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, etc., looking for just the right donor chassis. Came across this one, and then at the time we were planning to do an inline 6
Mhm.
for the motor that Matt has.
Yeah, I had a spare 235 sitting in my garage.
Okay.
And so that was gonna be the plan. We didn't have a transmission for it, we didn't have a bunch of other parts,
Right.
but.
We're really
that
trying to
was-
stone soup it at first,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
see
for
what we
sure.
had laying around.
Right.
But that same January 1st, that same day that we pushed the chassis over to Pat's house, I found on Facebook Marketplace this Oldsmobile motor.
That's a good story to hear.
Yeah,
I
so,
heard something about that. It wasn't.
yeah, so it was, what was it, $400, right? So, Olds 324 with Mercury transmission. And I'm like, we gotta check this out. I mean, we could do the 6, but this would be super cool too, so let's
Yeah.
go. And so a few of us, I don't remember who all, it was me.
I
It
went.
was you,
Tommy,
Tommy,
Greg,
Matt.
Matt.
Yeah.
I negotiated the price.
Where was the motor at?
Hazel Park,
Hazel Park?
yeah, right on 10 Mile.
Wasn't it right over by that place that
Yeah, it
had
was
the
right by
big
the ooze.
chemical leak?
Yeah.
It was right next to the big ooze, yeah.
Yeah.
In an alley? Behind an alley or something?
Yeah,
like that?
well, you know the one place right off of 696 that
Yeah.
ended up leaking
Yeah.
into the,
Oh,
into
yeah,
the
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like right next to that building.
Okay.
Wow. guys are lucky you don't have a third eye.
As far as you know.
I'm sure
Maybe
we'll
that's
fix it.
See me later.
He's not like Jim for nothing.
But yeah, so we went over and the guy said it was a runner, but couldn't get it to fire at the time.
Wasn't it
So.
sitting on its oil pan? Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
like all this
It was
stuff.
right
He's like
there.
trying to fire it up on the oil
Yeah,
pan.
he just
Yep.
had a bare
Jeez.
battery hitting
Yeah.
terminals. And so we're like, that's cool. Let's
It
do
cranked.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kicked a couple times, enough to,
Yeah, it was like a little sputter, right?
Yeah. So when did you guys have to do anything to the motor, or was just plug
We
and go?
intended to.
A lot of work to do on it?
We painted it
Yeah.
with
With
barbecue
brushes.
paint.
Yeah.
When they went
Rattle
over to pick
can
it up,
rebuild.
it was listed for like $500.
Yeah.
And they get over there and they're just kind of looking at it, and Tommy just goes, "How about 3?" And they're like, "All right." And they just threw it in the truck and they brought it back. And so like it was the absolute like stupid cheap motor that you could possibly
Yeah.
get for this whole deal.
Yeah,
And
it's got some legit old school speed parts on it too.
Yeah.
I mean, like the transmission adapters and the
like Hurst
engine
motor
mount,
mounts.
yeah, Hurst
right?
motor
Yeah.
mounts and stuff
Wow.
like that. So
Yeah, the headers you built were very nice.
oh,
that's all Patrick.
That was nice.
Yeah.
but I still have a bruise on my
Yeah.
thigh from banging those things into shape.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, it went from, we were all like super excited to run Matt's motor, like, oh, this will be a fun car, and then we bring this Oldsmobile home, and like we're looking at how big this freaking motor
Big
is.
motor,
We're like, okay, who wants to drive this now?
I think that's when I got scared of the car.
Yeah.
Like, this is a bit much.
Would we have been able to run the inline at Trog?
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
we would have
six
been
would've been
completely
Yeah.
compliant for Trog. With
But
the
we wouldn't have been
inline, but-
stepping on everybody like
Would you
No.
have had to launch the
Yeah.
frame
Oh, well, yeah, no
with
matter
the other
what.
motor?
With the inline? Yeah,
You think so?
well, so when we were building it, granted the Oldsmobile is a big heavy motor, but the inline 6 isn't much lighter.
Right.
That's true.
And
Yeah, yeah.
so there was a time when we were building it, Jim was over at the house and we had just got everything like off the frame table and on the ground, and the engine was sitting in it. And over the course of like 3 days, Jim and I noticed that the frame rails were just
Oh, no
slowly blowing out
It
from
wasn't
the weight.
that slow, actually.
Yeah, they were blowing out like significantly from the weight of the engine. We're like, we got to get this frame done because
Yeah.
this thing is having a hard time here. So,
So you had a lot of your club brothers came over and helped too, right?
so what the initial plan was is, we were going to come over, as often
Yeah.
as we could and work on it and do it as a club project.
I tried to come over. I work a lot.
That's fine. We all tried to figure out like, okay, well, whose schedule works, but there's like 12 guys in the club,
Yeah.
so it's hard to kind of line everybody up. And so eventually, I was just like, okay, for me, with the way I got everything going on, I got a bunch of kids at home and tons of stuff going on. I was like, okay, I got Thursday nights. 5 o'clock, I'm out in the garage. Whenever you guys can come over, come on over.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the start of it. We were able to start putting in some weekend days every once in a while, but really Thursday nights were like the night.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be everybody working on it together and keep going. But then COVID hit in March of that year. And so then, we couldn't
Right.
get together. My wife's super germaphobe, so she was like,
Yeah.
I don't want anybody at the house, any of that stuff. And so the hard thing was, and I started having panic attacks because it's like, okay, 5.7 Delta's in like, what was it? It was supposed to be in like
September.
August or
Yeah.
September. And I'm like, I'm the only one working on this car right now.
Well, we thought this COVID thing would be done in like a month.
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was supposed to be everybody working on it, but then of 2020, it was just basically me. Like the guys were able to buy parts and ship
Yeah.
them to my house and all that stuff, but it was down to really just me. We did a couple of video calls.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what I'm thinking that we need to do to the frame to get it to work, and do you guys like this idea and stuff? But really, so that was 2020, and then once vaccines started coming out, and we were kind of all started doing that stuff, we were able it was pretty much like May of this last of 2021.
So
We
was
were
this-
able to start getting back together.
So is
and
this
stuff.
still for 5.7 Delta, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
5.7 Delta
Yeah,
got
okay.
postponed to 2021.
When did you decide for the Trog?
Well,
When 5.7 when we talked to Darren and he's like, I can't do it this year. So he had postponed it in 2020, and then in 2021 he was trying to get it to go, and he had to postpone it again.
Right.
And so we had gotten far enough along in the car that it was like, okay, this car is, we're close. I mean, it was only a couple of months, like it was like 2 months out from
Yeah, it was
5.7, yeah.
Yeah.
And so like the car was almost, it was close,
You're right.
and we were like, it kind of would suck to not finish this car, and we didn't have a real reason to do it anymore. And then Jim's just like sitting there in the garage one day, he's like,
It was all Jim.
he's just sitting there, he's like, why don't we just try for Trog?
No, again, it was a group chat thing. I was daydreaming at work one day, and
Well, that-
and
well, if you
I
didn't say
sent it
anything,
out. I'm like, hey, what do you think?
And I think when you mentioned that, I said, isn't Trog closed? But let's
Right.
try anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
do a lot
Sorry, I was
of
a
publicity
naysayer.
about it this
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it wasn't clear. But so then I reached out to the guy who runs Trog, Mel, and I said, hey, what's the story with entries? Here's what we got. And he's like, oh, entries have been closed since June, but sometimes if something's really cool, I let it come in anyway. And I'm
Yeah.
like, do you think this is cool?
Please
And
tell us it's cool.
another thing though is that this was the first year that they were allowing OHV engines. Everything
Oh,
else, everything
inter-rail-
before this had
inter-rail.
always been flatheads.
Inter-rail.
Flatheads
Oh,
are
yeah.
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 So this was the first year that they were actually allowing, overhead valve engines to run
Yeah.
in an exhibition style.
I almost get the feeling it'll be the first and only year.
Actually, there's a lot of guys
Yeah.
building cars now
So
for it.
jeez,
Yeah.
So did you race against flatheads, or it was a different
Yeah.
category?
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah,
Because you guys did pretty good, right?
yeah. I mean, they only let
6
us
out of 6.
run.
Wow.
Yeah, they only let us run on Saturday, which was just grudge matches and
Yeah,
stuff. So,
yeah.
and I didn't really. I kind of wish I had run up against Omaha Speed just
Yeah.
because it would be
Jeez.
Oldsmobile versus Oldsmobile.
Yeah,
But
right.
Yeah.
really, it was just whoever
He
was
was-
in line next to us. And
That was
so
the kind of
that was at 34,
yeah,
33,
like
34.
across the way from us in the paddock.
Right.
Yeah,
The
but
really,
it was
looked kind of beat up.
it was pretty rough, but
That car
that
was-
was basically what the history of that car.
Yeah.
So.
That car was fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Scary fast.
So-
Yeah.
But yeah, for us, like it was just whoever was in line. So I ran against four bangers, I ran against
Nice.
flatheads, all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I watched some of the videos. It was very cool.
Did you race a bike too at one point?
No.
No, they
It was
keep
a-
bikes and
Bikes and
cars
cars.
separate,
Somebody
for
else
sure.
did. Somehow I got mixed up. I remember.
I think that towards the end on like Sunday they might have run a
Might have
bike
been,
versus like
yeah.
that mid-engine
Maybe during
roadster
the
or
finals.
something.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the car.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is, when you were building the car, you had a lot of help from other club brothers besides you guys. You had anyone to say anything, names of other guys that helped out, or?
So
Everybody.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was obviously a lot of the club. Everybody
Right.
was pitching when they could.
I wish
we
y'all
did
could have
have-
made it tonight. That would've been cool.
Yeah, no, it would've- we had Hayden Taylor.
Yeah.
He was pretty. He helped out a lot. Donated some, not donated, but loaned us some tools
Yeah,
to build
yeah,
a lot of
he
He
stuff.
got his 3-rear axle too, I believe, right?
Wow.
No, that
No,
hey,
um,
I thought you mentioned Ben. Yeah, Ben.
No.
Ben got his 3-rear axle.
But he's a
right?
club brother now.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
He bought the club.
Yeah, outside the club, Hayden helped us with the tools.
Darren Clore helped
Yeah.
us a ton.
Darren-
too.
Darren
He
helped
was-
a
He was
ton,
a big.
Yeah, he loaned us a bunch of parts. Not a whole lot that we used.
Yeah,
but-
we ended up having to go.
I have to give a lot. We actually what's his name from?
Haas.
From- yeah,
and
Haas,
George
Dead Last
from
Haas.
from Dead Last.
Todd-
Loaned us some
Parts
stuff
that we didn't use.
that we didn't use.
Still
But
loaned
also,
it to
but
us.
also they gave us some knowledge having been there in years past.
Yeah.
It was weird because they didn't go this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, it gave us a lot of knowledge, some inside tips, some general stuff. Yeah.
Todd Kramer from Haggerty.
Which
Yeah,
all
Todd Kramer.
gets
Yeah.
blasted out
Yeah.
the window, like when you get there and experience it
Right.
yourself. But
And Tommy, you brought over a helper.
Yeah, I did.
Your son Gavin?
Yeah, my son. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so he with the going back to the whole COVID thing that
Yeah.
hate talking about this again, but my son's been in virtual academy,
Yes,
and we just kept him in there. So,
Right.
so trying to keep him busy, trying to keep find some cool things to
Mhm.
do. And he's like my best friend. He helps me
Yeah,
with
yeah.
everything, So
Yeah.
and so I just dragged him one day. I'm like, you should come over and help with the car.
Yeah.
So brought him over, and he stands around with me and waits for something to do on the car.
Well, I seen the videos. He's running
Yeah.
the grinder over there.
Yeah,
He's
so
doing
yeah,
a good job.
so when it came down to grinding the frame, we had like 4 grinders going at once, and he was down there too. And,
My neighbors love
and,
me.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Hey, so there was an initial hoop built for the car too, the roll bar, and it was a square looking hoop, and my son helped out Patrick on that. So actually, my son built a roll bar before I ever built a roll bar. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. But then, of course, unfortunately, Mel made us scrap it because it didn't look right, period correct. So Patrick had to run a whole new one. But yeah, he had a lot of stuff, man. He helped me with the
Very
dashboard
cool, man.
and a bunch of things on that car.
Good memories for him.
Yeah, seriously.
You know? Hell yeah.
And skills learned. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of skills that you
Oh,
wouldn't.
yeah.
I mean, nobody has auto shops anymore. So
Right,
how's a kid gonna learn how to use a grinder?
Right.
If he's
But
not,
did he do a little bit of welding too? He tried that, right? Or no?
I think I handed him the welder for
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah,
minutes
I
on
think-
something.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
it was in his hand. He was
Yeah.
trying,
Exactly.
you know. But,
Did he weld the
also-
motor mounts?
yeah.
Oh.
Also, we had Todd Kramer from Haggerty. Tommy just
Yeah.
mentioned him. He ended up coming over. They were kind of following us on the build. They brought one of their what was the guy's name?
Xander?
No, not
No,
Xander. The
it
other
was
photographer.
Cameron.
Cameron.
Yep.
He had a photographer come over and take some pictures, and then we also had another friend that Tommy actually met at Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
So
So
one day, just
Xander, he's a photographer. He's an independent photographer. He's creating his own magazines.
yeah.
He's actually an engineer by trade, but he's kind of pushing it. Young guy too,
Yeah.
and an Alfa Romeo fan too, of all
Oh,
things. But
jeez.
anyway, he
We'll have to do an aside on the Alpha.
yeah.
And Trog.
That was fun.
It was.
But so yeah. Anyway, he's cool guy. We met I think on Instagram, and he showed up. We met at in person at Cars and Coffee, and
Yeah.
just started talking, and come to find out that I was complimenting on a lot of pictures and things that he takes. Really talented photographer.
Yeah.
And so at one point we thought, hey, it'd be kind of cool if because we're gonna be busy out there. Somebody wants to come by and take pictures, and gave him the opportunity. We had an extra space at the cottage we rented. So I said,
Oh, right.
if you're you're looking for stuff to shoot. I said, why don't you, first he was coming out to shoot us in the garage too, which was really cool. He
Yeah.
took a ton of cool pictures, made us actually look cooler than we really are. But,
Maybe you. I mean,
well, me specifically, right? Yeah.
it was actually it was really funny because the day that Todd Kramer brought his photographer out, Xander showed up at the same
Yeah.
time. It was before
Oh.
Todd showed up, and so like
It was a little
both these
awkward.
guys are taking pictures of us, and they're like looking at each other like, "Am I supposed to be here?" Like, I was like, "Yes, it's celebrity deathmatch, you guys."
Right.
Yeah, and come to find out they knew each other anyway. So then we invited Xander out to Trog with us, and he stayed at the cottage with us, and shot not only us, but shot the race event. Met another
Yeah.
photographer, Joey Ukrup. I don't know if you're familiar with
No.
him. He was working for Rodder's Journal for a little while. Now he's working for one of the biker magazines. I can't remember which one, but anyway, another talented photographer, writer for the hot rod scene.
Yeah.
And so he happened to be out there. So he got him into the pit. He got a bunch of pit shots, got some track shots, and
Nice pictures too. I remember looking at
he
them.
really took some great
Unbelievable.
pictures. So yeah, and I can't thank him enough for
So glad he was there because, I mean, to be able to document that and just, I mean, to be
Yeah.
there is one thing, you have
Right.
these memories, but
right. I
memories kind of
Oh,
go
yeah,
away
there's
over
so much
time.
going on down there.
But those photos and
Yeah.
just like,
yeah.
holy
I can't
cow,
tell you how
every
often
single
I
one
go
of them
through those
awesome.
pictures.
Yeah.
It's just it's so cool.
Yeah.
So did you guys, during this building it for the Trog, did you think it would happen?
oh yeah.
Because you,
Well,
I know you
once-
guys
once
got
we
down
made
to the
that
wire.
decision-
I-
Once we made that decision,
Yeah.
it was gonna happen.
I don't say
I
I'll-
spent way more money than I intended to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, our Stone
way
Soup
more
project
time
turned
than I
into
intended to.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
Yeah,
that
what-
last month was nuts.
I think,
I-
I think that rejuvenated like the whole build on the
Yeah.
car too.
Yeah.
It
Well-
definitely perked me up because it was like, I'm not mechanical, I'm more artistic, but it was like, all right, what can I do to help?
Yeah.
Well, and I guess a good segue is, where we actually got to make it probably, leads into the story of we almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I know, right, right.
Well, so like when we finally made the decision, like, okay, we're gonna try for Trog, and then when we actually heard back from Mel saying, yeah, get that thing done and get it down here, we all were like, okay, now we're going. So we all tried to pitch in what we could, and then Jim and I were like every night till 1 a.m.
Wow.
for like a month and a half.
Or later.
Yeah.
And it was actually funny because like So I got kids at home, and like my youngest son, he's 2 years old. He was basically like, by the time we were getting ready to leave for Trog, he's like, he's always looking around like, where's Jim? Where's Jim?
Yeah.
Hi Jim, hi Jim.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, yeah, here's Daddy Jim. He's here.
Yeah. So what was one of your proudest moments of the bill? I mean, I don't know if that's a question, a good question to ask. I mean,
You
So-
think it was when we fired it up on
Yeah, the trailer.
Yeah.
Well, there was that. So I would have to say the very first time, one of the biggest proudest moments that I had was when Greg sent out that video. I was on vacation, and Greg and
Yeah.
Steve from the club just showed up at my garage.
Yeah.
Kicking in the gut.
I basically texted out, all right guys, here's my garage code. I'm gonna be gone for a week.
right.
Do whatever. And so Greg and Steve show up, and they got the car to fire, and it was actually funny because right before Steve gets the thing to fire up, Greg
Right.
just shouts to the video, he's like, kick it in the gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it fires right up, and so like I had to paint that on the floorboards because it was the greatest thing ever. So
I heard it over at my house.
so that was super cool. And then when we finally had it painted, for
That
me
was
personally,
awesome.
that was a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
when we finally had it painted, then there was when we got it started on the way down, and then the first time it was on the beach, like that was
Yeah.
for me. Those are my 4 top moments on the whole thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
So before we get to the beach, you guys drove down there. How many hours was that?
It's about 12 hours,
Yeah.
something
Well,
like that. Yeah.
4
It's-
guys in the car?
Google says 12, but it was really like 15 or 16 by the time we got there.
Yeah, really.
Did you guys get along in the car and everything?
No.
Well, Jim and I slept for like the
Yeah.
first half
Yeah.
of the drive. We were done. We were
Well,
toasted.
I drove like 90% of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried driving for
Yeah.
about an hour,
Yeah.
and
Almost
Tommy's
killed
like,
us.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take over again.
You driving through you going through the mountains and
Yeah.
stuff with the trailer?
Yeah,
How long was
right.
that trailer on?
Right
there?
through
It was, I
Pennsylvania.
borrowed my dad's 22-foot
Wow.
enclosed trailer.
That
with
must have
some
been fun
trucks.
driving.
Yeah,
So-
it worked fine,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like we hadn't slept literally in 3 days,
Yeah.
so
Right,
it was probably not ideal.
So they did finally catch some sleep, and I was so worried that these guys were tired, and Tommy was driving, and I knew he was tired.
Right.
Yeah, I
all
got
of
like
us-
5 hours the night
Yeah,
before.
and I think I was probably the only one that got maybe 7 hours sleep the night prior.
Yeah.
So I'm like awake and like telling
Teach you to
these-
pull a trailer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're not the one who didn't know how to drive a trailer though.
I think between now and next year,
Yeah,
I don't drive. I've never driven
Yeah.
a
Oh,
truck
yeah.
with a trailer, a small Starcraft. But
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
You know, that's as big as this table here. So
I remember reading on Facebook there was something about banana eating. Who ate the best? Who had the best style of eating bananas?
no, we. Wow,
I remember that.
All right,
I don't
deep
think
cut
there's
here.
that, but
Mark and I
Sleep
hatched a
deprivation.
plan.
I don't know anything about that.
I think you read wrong.
It was a long trip.
No, so nobody had gotten sleep, and I was the one who had gotten 7 hours of sleep, so the most sleep. So my job, I thought, was to keep these guys,
Morale.
keep whoever was driving awake. So they probably heard some stories of bananas and what to do with bananas or something. But
Yeah, that's hilarious.
yeah, but by the time they got there, I think these guys were a little more well rested. I'm just like, yeah. So it was pretty weird.
So
It was
It's
a
a nice-
stressful drive down
Oh, I
there though.
bet,
Just
yeah.
with the not only driving down there, but with the car, we were
Yeah.
having issues. I
Well,
don't know if you guys want to drop the story on
But
that.
I think it
even
was kind
before-
of cool to go to drive at night. Granted, you didn't see anything, but it also meant less traffic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that aspect was
Yeah.
fine, but
Yeah.
Well, the only reason we drove so late too is, I mean,
Yeah.
going back, right?
Yeah.
Sure, the car started. Greg and Steve got it started
Mhm.
for us, right? But then we had to switch. We weren't allowed to run a 4-barrel. We had to switch
Oh,
to
really?
something that looked, more traditional that
Yeah.
fit the bill, right? So we tried another intake with triple carbs that didn't work. The intake didn't fit. Then we decided we'll use an adapter on the 4-barrel that we do have, and
Mhm.
we'll put 3 carbs on it. Darren Clore lent us 3 carbs that basically would have needed a rebuild.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so Jim, again,
They were actually unrebuildable.
Yeah.
I started to try rebuild.
Wow.
And
So-
keep in mind, this was like 2 days or a day before we were scheduled to leave.
So,
Yeah.
so Jim, working towards his divorce, just said, "I'm going to buy more carbs." Buys 3 more brand new carbs.
Wow.
We throw those on there, right?
Yeah.
But then again, when we go to paint the engine,
Yeah.
and again, sleep deprivation really came into a lot of this, right? We're going to paint the engine, so the distributor gets pulled, carbs get pulled, everything, right?
Wow.
And I remember I was going to go put the distributor back in, And Jim goes, there should be a mark on there. I go,
Oh,
there's no mark on there.
Nice.
There was a mark, it was just
You
under
painted
paint.
over.
Yeah.
So, you know, we put it in the best as I thought, right?
Yeah.
And we just said, oh, go with it, right? But by the time the next morning comes around, I wake up, right? These guys are still working literally through the night. This is the morning we're supposed to leave.
Yeah.
I go home, I get a few hours of sleep, I wake up and I look at my I'm watching my phone to see who's texting. I figured I'm not gonna go over there until they text and say they're ready to go. I look at my phone, no text, I'm like, oh, all right, go back to sleep. And like 2 hours go by, I look at it again, I'm like, I haven't heard anything. This is kind of fucked up. So I text, and Patrick right away, he's like, we're still trying to get it going. I'm like, shit. So
Yeah.
we get down there, and I think I showed up like around 10 or 11, thinking that, okay, by the time we get down there, they should get this car going. I get down there, still not going, still not
We had
running.
planned
Right?
to leave
And they're
by noon.
they're tired. They're up for literally 2 days straight. They're
Yeah.
tired. They're pissed off, you know. And we're just sitting there scratching our heads. And of course, nobody thinks that we need to pull the distributor and realign everything. But anyway,
I think we had brainstormed everything.
4
but
p.m.
what gives?
by
I couldn't
4
figure out
p.m.
the solution on anything.
By
Yeah.
4 p.m. that Thursday, I'm like, we gotta hit the fucking road, man. I said, we're just not gonna make it down there. I said, worst case scenario, we get down there, we have the car, it doesn't run, but we enjoy the show. Let's just
Yeah.
get down there.
Right.
Well, we also figured
Yeah.
there's so many guys down there that
And
had
we might
these, you know,
figure
had
it
that
out,
would
right.
have some knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
we could find somebody that could help us figure this
Yeah.
thing out.
Well, I
Right.
remember you text me about the timing on my car, because that's an Oldsmobile motor.
Yeah.
You were asking me what the setting was, and
Yeah.
I've never messed with that. I'm at work. I said, I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't help you. And then I got home, and then I was going to bring the car over, and you
Yeah.
guys said, we're already on the road.
Yeah.
But then you guys were on the road, I think, and I
Yeah.
saw a video where you
Yeah.
guys, I don't know if you're at a truck stop or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
one of the Ohio Turnpike
Yeah.
service stations, we
Mile marker
Well,
100.
yeah. So
Pretty
we
much
just-
every service
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
park like
Yeah.
somebody like, I gotta hit the bathroom, and,
Yeah.
and Jim and I are out in the trailer trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a
So
little
just
Perry
before
truck
that
stuff.
last one though, Patrick and I were talking and we're like, all right, we gotta take this back to step 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't assume anything.
Kids, listen up here.
Yeah,
This is a good
and-
lesson.
and it's a lesson I've learned the hard way probably a dozen times. So clearly it's not
Yeah.
taking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're like, okay, take it back to step 0.
Right.
Let's get everything. So we go back there while we're gassing up and whatever.
I was
and-
getting a coffee.
Yeah. So we find top dead center, set up. Okay, here's this spark plug wire. Here's this spark plug wire. Here's this spark plug wire. That's what we're at. Blah 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 blah. And it was what it was off.
We were off by like 3 plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like 180 or anything.
Yeah,
It was like
I
3
still
plugs
don't know.
over. We were somehow, it was off.
It's
And
so weird.
the whole time we were doing this too, there's like people out in the parking lot
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
into the
Friends.
trailer
Yeah.
like, oh, what's this thing? It's
Yeah,
like,
there's
so
a-
we're like trying to like,
There are 2 really cool Jewish kids
Group of Israeli
Yeah.
tourists.
Yeah.
who were like, "What you got there?"
Yeah,
We're
right.
like, "Oh, a
Right.
suspect device."
So yeah, then as soon as we got that all set up, vroom.
Yeah.
Starts right up like
Yeah.
And I can tell you that the mood in the truck
Oh,
for
my
about
God.
God.
man.
for about a good 2
Yeah.
hours before everybody started falling asleep again was
Yeah.
like party
Oh,
atmosphere.
yeah.
It was great. Yeah.
The,
that's when the banana
I-
eating
Yeah.
contest.
I think everybody at Truck Stop 100 like participated in our
Very
jubilation.
cool. Yeah.
But that was just to get the engine started.
Yeah, we still had.
I mean,
cars that
there was
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
a decent to-do list.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a,
Yeah.
and the car had never moved.
Yeah, we
Well, that's
it
true.
literally had never moved under its own power.
And we had joked that that was the coolest thing that would ever happen to us in
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we roll in at like 6 a.m.
Mhm.
Into New Jersey
Which is
Wildwood.
Which is pretty awesome because
Yeah.
Wildwood's a really, really cool
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
Well, that was
style
going to be my
town.
next question. When you
Okay,
guys
sorry.
got there, what was your thought? I mean, was it all you thought it would be when you got there?
Can I field that one first?
Yeah,
sure.
Go
All
for
right,
it.
thanks.
You're already
Um,
starting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so Trog's always been like a bucket list thing
Yeah.
since I first started seeing photos. So to roll into town at kind of 6 a.m. as the sun's coming up
Yeah.
was ideal and surreal and ideal. Yeah, and it's like just a throwback in time. There's all
Nice.
kinds of cool neon. You're like right on the beach, and we're rolling in, and it's dead quiet, and there's hotels all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like you're rubbernecking because there's a cool car.
That's
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
right.
a cool car. Oh my God, did you see that service car Harley? You know,
Yeah.
just like and I mean, I think at that instant it was just like I'm in my life. I'm constantly in need of inspiration. I'm constantly
Yeah.
needing things to be like in my face and over the top,
Yeah.
and just this huge wow factor. And at that moment, it like hit me like a ton of bricks that you're in for a treat this entire
Yeah.
next 4 days.
Right.
There's nothing like seeing an old roadster underneath the ocean sun, like first thing in the morning. Like the
right.
first time, like we were driving, I think it was the Polar Devil Roadster that we saw. Like I saw that and I was like, holy
Yeah.
crap! All right, we're here.
Was it kind of emotional when you got there seeing all
Oh, yeah.
this?
Oh yeah.
A bit, yeah, especially as tired as we were.
Yeah, but, and we didn't know where to go even. I mean, we knew the town and the basic
Yeah.
where things were, but we're like, okay, should we go to the condo or should we try to
And
set up here?
I'm like yelling. I'm like, I think we should go around the block because I
Yeah.
missed a good photo op
Yeah,
on,
right,
on that
right.
neon sign right there.
And then
Yeah.
I look and I see somebody walking around, a bearded guy
Yeah.
walking around with no shoes on. And I'm like, I think that's Mel. Mel's the guy that runs it.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, that's totally Mel.
Yeah.
And so we pull up, like, you Mel? He's like, yeah, hey, what's up? Like, yeah, we got the suspect device here. Remember, I've been chatting with you a little bit. He's like, oh, yeah. I'll go ahead and unload. Put it right in there.
Yeah.
You're good.
Wow.
Yeah, we were the
Cool.
first ones in the
Yeah.
paddock,
Oh, yeah.
Really?
which was
Yeah.
cool. We were all
Yeah.
set up. We
Yeah.
had, sitting right there, so everybody's rolling in and they see us first. Which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So then we went, just got a couple hours of sleep,
Mhm.
headed back to the paddock to take care of what we thought was a doable to-do list for a couple hours, and we ended up, it was 10 o'clock at night by the time we were
Wow,
done.
yeah.
And that was when the car moved under its own power.
Middle of
Yeah.
October, well, beginning of October, we were all sunburned by the time the
Yeah.
day was over. Just working out in the parking lot all day.
But it's amazing. Like I think I took far more photos on Friday due to like
Yeah.
the excitement and these guys were wrenching, and I'm not a great wrencher.
Yeah.
I tend to feel like I'm more in the way, so it kind of gave me an opportunity to go out and document and take more photos of
Yeah.
things that I saw that these guys may have missed because they were wrenching. But
Yeah.
it's just like the time lapse of things that arrive and things that you're seeing is just incredible, because not only there's our car, and then hey, when I came back to check on these guys, and like there's our buddy Randy also
Yeah.
from Detroit with his Harley.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, is that a belly tanker over there? So
Yeah,
you
right,
run over
right.
there, and it's just it's mind boggling, like the amount of stuff that shows
Yeah.
up and this sense of kind of camaraderie and
Mhm.
community that's going on there.
Did it seem like everybody wanted to help everybody out if you're having problems with your cars? Was it like that at all?
It kind of was. I
Yeah,
think, yeah.
To be honest, I was just zoned into
Yeah.
trying to get this fucking thing going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I-
right.
and it turned out to be just some stupid shit that we were trying to use a nice small lightweight battery that just wasn't sufficient for the car. So and it was 8 o'clock at night before we finally
Yeah.
just said that this is not gonna work. We
Right,
gotta
right.
use a real battery for this fucking
Right,
thing.
yeah.
So then I
I
hopped
think-
in with Xander's Alpha.
Alpha.
And went to the AutoZone to buy a battery box
Yeah.
and some other stuff, and we were doing that in the middle
I
of the
do
night.
tend to wonder if like your first trog is always kind of your biggest learning experience,
sure.
because you had no prior experience with it. Granted, like what our friends from Dead Last told us, but they're not going to tell you oh, this is going to go wrong, or
Yeah.
you can
Right.
predict this. You have to leave yourself a little open-minded
Right. Right.
and ready for shit that's going to go wrong, I guess.
And it's not really vacation. You're working harder than you do at
Yeah.
your regular
Yeah,
job.
right.
I talked to one of the Oilers online, the Oilers of the club that
Right.
put it on. I talked to one of them online, afterwards, and they're like, "Yeah, we were super glad that you guys came out and you guys made the effort to get down here, and we just kind of let you guys be because you guys were thrashing. We remember what our first year that we were doing that thrashing, so we knew you guys. We just let you guys do your thing. So because for a while, like nobody was talking to us because we were working. We're like, "Fuck, we're the only freaking guys here working on these damn
A lot of
cars."
people were taking pictures and looking over our shoulders.
Yeah,
Oh,
the guys
yeah.
borrowing tools too.
Yeah,
we had a
right.
bunch of guys
Yeah, we-
borrowing
Because
tools from
we had
us.
an actual toolbox there.
Yeah.
Most people did.
Made a couple
Wow.
friends that day just borrowing tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the only guys that were really legit wrenching on. Well, actually, what was it the mid-engine car that they had to weld up their oil pan? Like they rolled it, they had a flatbed
Yeah.
trailer that was missing the middle, and they're like, well, we'll just drive it up on this
Yeah.
and use it like a lift. And they were up underneath there welding the oil pan back
Yeah.
together.
Randy was JB welding.
JB,
something on his
that's
bike.
yeah.
That's not a good sign.
That guy's awesome.
Whatever it took, right?
Should have him on the show. He's
Yeah.
good. But no, I even just kind of, stepping back and just learned a lot, like in that paddock
Yeah.
area, helping these guys, and just watching and kind of listening and observing, and even
Yeah.
before that, just being out in the garage watching. So, yeah, it was good from that perspective too.
Right. Would you guys do it again?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we're planning on next
Oh, yeah.
year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're
As long as
gonna
they
do
allow
some
us.
more work on the device and get it a little, things that we learned
Yeah.
to get better, and we're definitely going back.
Well,
Things
well,
that more things that we broke actually.
Yeah, right.
I think we need to go to Indiana and get that belly tanker though.
I think that's gone already.
Yeah, I haven't seen
We'll,
What
tweak-
about-
we'll get our test runs at 5.7 Delta. And
There
we'll
you
kick
go.
some acid.
What about the Colorado Hill climb?
I don't know if
I
it
don't
would
think it
actually.
turns very
It
well.
doesn't.
No?
I mean, it'd be cool to take it there, but it's not. It's not. Really,
I actually heard we're ineligible because of the Mount Clemens hill climb.
If they allow 5-point turns going up the hill, then we can probably do it.
Right. So any
We're
famous
gonna-
people
we're-
out there you guys see? Any?
Well, go ahead. You guys.
I mean, people from.
Bill and Autumn showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, like
you
people
know-
you see on these TV shows.
Yeah, I'm walking down the beach and I'm like, hey, there's Bill and Autumn.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I mean, just
Not-
a
not
lot of
this year,
cars that you see, all over Instagram
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
that people-
In years
I would-
past, there's been a few, but I didn't. I don't
Yeah, this year
remember
wasn't the
anybody
big
from this
celebrity
year,
year, right?
The
I was
the
out
flag
there-
girl.
I was just gonna bring up the flag girl. Let's talk about her.
Well, real quick, I was out there and right after, I kind of felt like a jerk because we get there to the parking lot and we're starting to work on the car and I lettered up the numbers on the side of the
Yeah.
car, and then eventually people are just like, hey, you want to letter my car? You want to letter my
Yeah,
car?
yeah.
You want to letter my shirt and all that. So I was so eventually it just kind of pulled me away.
Yeah.
And so I felt like an ass because I kept looking over and these guys are they're just wrenching, Jim's losing what little hair he has left.
Yeah, right.
And I'm and eventually I had to, I was painting the cowl on this one guy's Roadster pickup, and he wanted me to, he's like, oh, it's just a little thing, and then he just goes, he's like, I start painting, and he's like, oh yeah, I built it one piece at a time, didn't
Oh.
spend a dime. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm already painting this.
Yeah, right.
But I actually felt bad because I didn't
You-
misspell a word, but I didn't put an apostrophe.
Oh.
But I told him
Very
I have to get,
police.
I had to get. I'm like, I gotta get back to my car, and so
Yeah.
he paid me, but he was kind of pissed that But anyway, I ended up meeting.
No regrets.
Yeah, I ended up meeting Hot Rod Jen, which was the pinstriper. She's pretty well known throughout
yeah,
the pinstriping
okay.
pinstriping world. She came over. She's like, this is the one event that I go to that I don't stripe at, because if I stripe at it, I don't get to enjoy the show. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a fucking car over there to build. I'm still striping these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So I got to talk to her for I don't know, almost an hour. It was really cool. She was giving me tips on
Yeah.
brushes and all sorts of
Nice.
stuff. And then there was a couple other famous pinstripers.
Was Tukey
Igor
out
was
there
there.
this year?
What's that?
Tukey, was he out there this year?
I don't remember seeing him. It was.
I know he's been there in the past.
A
yeah.
couple of the cats from House Industries, which is a big
Yeah.
kind of graphic design
Okay.
font house. To me, they're heroes and legends.
Yeah.
They were out there, but
Was Andy out there?
I didn't see Andy, and I didn't hear after the fact that he was there.
Yeah.
That dude's interesting. He kind of keeps a low profile for a scene that he's really, really well connected to. Yeah,
I
but
guess,
yeah, they're legends to
Yeah.
me.
so I guess there's a lot of Instagram celebrities out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They pulled in some celebrities in years past, so I think of
Yeah.
Jesse Combs.
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Jesse
yeah.
Combs
That
for
was
sure.
a big deal. I think Ray Evernham might have attended one.
Yeah,
one
I think
year,
when,
so,
when
yeah.
they had Hemmings as a sponsor, I think that was kind of the big,
Right.
that was big.
What's his name?
We had to pull Tommy out of the gas monkey
Aquaman
trail.
actor.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Aquaman actor guy.
Get yourself some
big
of
into
that.
motors. Jason
Yeah.
Momoa has been around out there.
Oh,
He
the
wasn't
guy?
there this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to finish up a little on the show here. Do you guys have anything you want to promote? Anything coming up? I know Autorama's coming up. You guys are gonna be down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're putting together. Matt's actually putting it together for us right now. He's kind of compiling all the Autorama stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll have the Suspect device down there.
Oh, cool, yeah.
It's in my evil lair right now. I
Yeah.
got some things I'm trying to put together and get it done, get it
Yeah.
cleaned up. But otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. You guys gonna do the fort this year?
Yeah.
You can,
Yes, we are. Tommy,
I,
Tommy and I will be
It's on
talking
record.
about
I think Mark's jumping the gun, but as far as I've been talking with them down at the fort. Tom Berlucci's my main contact down
Okay.
there for the historic part of it.
Great.
And as far as they're concerned, we can absolutely do it whenever they want. They
Yeah.
want us to come down there. They want us to have this show.
Yeah.
I want to do this show, and I don't know. I think, you know, socially, I think we're probably maybe just about there unless something else
Yeah.
takes it down. But
Right.
I think the show's going to happen next year, and,
Very
and
cool.
Can we say it's going to be different? Oh, I guess we can.
Yes.
no,
We won't. I don't want to go into details, but Tommy and I have talked about some stuff. And we got to talk more. And,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we're gonna try and get more serious about it.
keep
I mean,
me
it's always been
posted.
kind of
Yeah,
a
oh,
loosey-goosey
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, guys, I want to really thank you guys for being on the show. My first show. I think it went great. Really nice.
Yeah, thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah,
Very
thanks,
welcome, man.
Thanks for
Good-
having
good
us.
talk.
time.
And also, I'm going to talk about my next show. Next month, I'm going to have the Hood Rats
Oh
on.
God.
Those guys?
Yeah, I'm going to have those guys on.
I'm
Greg,
sorry.
Greg, Wayne, and Daryl. That'll be a real
You should ask them about their banana eating contest.
Yeah, right.
Keep an eye on Daryl.
and
Don't let him out
and
of
Bill
your
won't
sight.
be here. He's in Florida. He's the lucky one out in the sunny
He should
state.
phone it in.
Yeah, phone call. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have the Hood Rats on next month. I haven't picked a date yet, but we'll do
Good guys.
that.
I'm actually I'm working on the flyer for their show.
Yeah, they have a great. They just started. It's gonna be their fourth show, right?
Third, fourth.
Third?
Yeah, I
Third or
can't-
fourth, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's good.
Good
it's a
time.
gig.
Fourth show. Yeah,
And, always,
fourth.
and it's always hot as hell.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
But hey, it rains for 5 minutes.
That's right,
you'll
right.
be
So-
all set.
But this show here, I'm gonna try to have it up in the next couple weeks. I'll let everybody know.
it'll be Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, Monday or
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Oh my
That
goodness.
was my producer Peggy. Monday or Tuesday. And what will that be on Spotify?
Spotify, it's all listed right there.
Oh.
Thank you, Matt.
It'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, Castbox,
Grinder.
YouTube,
Tinder.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you get it, share it.
What's the gay Michigan boys or whatever?
GMB,
GMB. What's it stand for again?
Gay Michigan Bitches.
Okay.
I'll make
And-
my wife listen to it when
And
she
if you
goes.
want to watch some, if you want to listen to something a little different, my wife Peggy has a podcast. You can listen to her. It's called Peggy Beatty Here. Check that out. It's very good. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. So check it out. So I think that's it. I want to really thank you guys again for coming out. Thank you,
Thank you.
Gavin, for coming out too. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Gavin.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Bananas.